What's going on, everybody? We are the Defenders of Comics, and we are going to talk tonight about Jupiter's Legacy and some other things. But first, we have Ace and Ref with me. You can say
Hey guys,
hi.
what's up?
Hey,
Hey,
y'all.
hey.
Hey.
Hey. All right, so first off, before we really dive deep into Jupiter's Legacy, what did you all think about? First, have you read the comics about it? Second, what did you think about the actual Netflix series?
I liked it. I like it a lot.
Yeah, I appreciated the series, and as a maybe not that great of a fan of the comic series. I mean, this was one of the last parts of Mark Millar's installations in the image world in Millarworld. I thought it was kind of weak, but I really enjoyed the Netflix series.
I did not read any part of the comics. I did like the series. I got a lot of flack for my TikTok that I made about people need to go run and go watch it as fast as they can because, in my opinion, it was so different than Invincible, so different than Falcon and the Winter Soldier. It was
Yeah,
trying very hard to tell a story, not just it's going to be
yeah,
action, 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 action. And I enjoyed
yeah.
it.
I thought I will say that first episode was stellar, and then it did slow a bit. So if you've got the ADD quality of most viewers these days, then they may get agitated by the fact that it's this amazing first episode with all this action and superhero, you know, action, and then it does slow down a bit and it gets more into the characters and development. And at times it is a little slowly paced. Like we were saying before we went on air, kind of thought personally for me, I thought episode four and five were a little too slow. But man, overall, I thought it was great. And I always kind of use a barometer of when you watch a show or a movie, and sometimes if you find yourself thinking about it later, or like, man, that was really cool, or ooh, I can't wait to see that part, or I'm finding myself really interested in this, that's a good indicator that it's really sticking with you.
Yeah.
It's like, we watched Mortal Kombat on HBO Max and I loved it, but it kind of felt like after it was over I was like, whereas like Godzilla and Kong, I was like, man, I want to watch it again. That was just phenomenal. And so Jupiter's Legacy for me really got me excited about it. And Ref and I, we're huge Mark Miller fans, or Millar. And although I would say that I probably enjoyed Jupiter's Legacy a little more than Ref, that was one of the ones maybe we differed slightly on. I mean, it's not like you hated it, Ref, but
Hmm.
it was definitely. I know it was not one of your favorite Millar properties, where usually he hits a home run almost every time.
Mm.
Yeah.
And for you, this one was like, I don't know, a double, but
Yeah, it was
for me, it
almost
was
a
like
rehash. I mean,
yeah, for me, it was kind of a triple. I mean, I really liked it, but even going, having said that, it wasn't like, my all-time favorite is Starlight, Nemesis, and Superior for Millar. Those properties are far and away better for me than Jupiter's Legacy, even. So,
mhm.
And before we dive deep into this, I want to say if you are watching it live, tell us what you all thought of Jupiter's Legacy, and if you're watching it as the playback, put it in the comments and say what you thought also about it.
Hey, and if you guys
do it.
really like what we do here, please subscribe to our channel. That really warms our heart and also makes us feel like you're out there with us. Or, subscribe, or, give us a thumbs up so that we can get, to more
Please,
out there.
please, sir, would you please subscribe? I'm so poor, I can't feed my family, and I can't do anything. So if you would please subscribe, it helps us a lot. Thank you.
Oh my god. We just lost 30,000
Yeah,
subscribers.
everything.
Hey, I'm begging you, please, please help us, please.
Man, that
No, no.
accent just went to southern at the same time of that.
It's a combo. and it goes up and down.
If you could say it like Ozzy Osbourne, I think we could get.
Oh yeah. Share. You subscribe to our channel. Share. Subscribe. All right, back on track.
The whole thing just went kaboom. We had 10,000 people watching and went down to 2. Just to let you know.
I feel like we just gained 10,000.
Oh yeah.
All right, so the first thing is there are really, really, really big mixed reviews with Jupiter's Legacy. And I still feel the main reason that there is big mixed reviews, I'm not going to sit here and try to say that the acting is fantastic. But a lot of people are pissed off at the acting. And they're comparing it, which ticks me off even more, they're comparing it to Invincible. They wanted that much action from this compared to Invincible, and you're just not going to get it.
It's like, guys, Invincible's a cartoon.
Yeah.
And that's not a diss. It's just they can do nonstop action because it's a cartoon.
Right.
Well, and
they can draw whatever they want.
Well, Invincible is such a, I don't know, it's so indicative of the comics. I mean, I felt like in Invincible, every issue was pretty action packed.
Yeah.
I didn't think it really missed. There, as much as I love Millar, like we get a good character development. This is for more mature readers, not necessarily that Invincible isn't, but you get more character development with Millar, which I appreciate.
Yeah. Well, let's look at Jupiter's Legacy. So on Rotten Tomatoes currently, it stands at 38% critic rating, which is rotten, which is not good. It's pretty bad. But here's the thing that you always want to look at, and I don't go by Rotten Tomatoes exclusively, but you get a sense for the audience scores where the real rating is, because we're the ones really watching it. And so it's like 74%, and which is really good. It's a fresh score. That means most of the viewers are responding to it and giving it a favorable view. So
is there any,
I think that's good.
Is most shows that big of a difference?
Not most, but you do have some where the critics just want to pile on it. And the best example, of course, is Snyderverse movies.
Oh God, yes.
You've got Batman v Superman. Oh no, one of the better ones maybe was Venom, where the critics just slashed it to death.
Loved it.
And it's huge with the audience. Made 800 million worldwide, so that's why we're getting a sequel. So you do have sometimes those huge differences between what critics have their nose up at, and then the audience is like, "Screw you! We thought it was great."
Yeah. So do you feel then, I'm hoping that you feel that this is one of those things that the audience is saying this is great.
Yeah, I think, we can't deny that it's not a grand slam, where you get the critics and the audiences, 98%. It's like Invincible is like a 98% critic and like a 90 something percent audience. So it's been hugely received. Whereas this is like bombing with critics, but the audience is there. And then, here's the deal. It's not like box office where I miss box office about some things because, Sunday morning you get up, you check the internet, boom, you see what the box office of the movie you're tracking was, and you'll know instantly if it was a hit with the fans or the viewers. The streaming world's different, but Netflix is starting to show their top 10 every day, like what's number one on Netflix every day. And this is in every country that Netflix is in. And so the good news for Jupiter's Legacy is that it's been consistently number one across the world since it debuted. And not in just the top 10, number one every day. It hasn't moved. So to me, that's a really good indicator for viewers. And Netflix, I'm sure, they want critical recognition, but they're going to want viewers mostly. That's how they'll gauge it.
Don't you feel that this has to have, and I hope it does, but we all know Netflix is Netflix. This has to have at least a second season, or it's even going to be a worse dud than what it actually is. What did you think about Lisa Bibb's performance? Leslie
Okay.
Bibb, I guess I should say. Well, I don't know why I said Lisa Bibb.
Yeah, Leslie Bibb. Yeah, I would have to say I thought she'd be better. I thought in the flashback scenes she was pretty good.
Yeah.
I don't know what it was though when she was in the modern scenes. It seems she was pretty stiff and not very good. So when they talk about actors and actresses on the show, she did kind of stick out a little bit as not quite there on the level of Brainwave and then Utopian. Like I thought Josh Duhamel I thought he was freaking great,
I
man.
agree with that.
And then and what's the guy's name? Ben. Oh gosh, I don't know if it's Shepard or whatever that played. He was the guy from the Exorcist TV show that Ref and I liked so much.
Mm-hmm.
I thought he did phenomenal too.
Mm-hmm.
I thought he did great.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I thought Josh Duhamel did. I thought he was amazing in both the flashbacks and in the present thought.
Totally agree.
And I think. So, what do you guys think of like the different dynamics of? I mean, is this the same as every superhero show? I thought the idea of the kind of the chase after Utopian, the chase of filling Utopian. He's old. He's not gonna be able to do it much longer, and his son like feeling like crap, like he can't fulfill those roles. Now, I mean, I'm only halfway through the season, so I'm maybe not completely with the storyline, but I thought that dynamic made this more of a unique show.
Yeah. I want to
I've actually
say.
preferred. Oh, go ahead.
Well, I was gonna say. I do like the struggle of the family part of this, to where they are having everyday struggles. It's not just a perfect superhero family. It's almost like the
Yeah,
Superman
you're
and
right.
Lois, where there's family struggles. I mean, they got a daughter that is as big of a problem as that. No father wants that problem, and they have it. And
No, no.
and then the whole superhero part of them, on that the rule is we don't kill anybody. And you've seen the first episode, and sorry if this is a spoiler for anybody watching, but when Brandon decided to take the life of the villain, I mean,
Yeah, Black Star.
if he wouldn't have done that, they wouldn't have even been here.
That's
And
what Mom reflected on. It's
yeah,
like, if you didn't do this, we would be gone.
yeah,
And I thought that was. I think that's the cool part. The cool part of this show is that that typical Marvel DC, we don't kill people, we don't do this, and also this idea of if I didn't, we'd be screwed.
yeah,
Really.
Yeah, I mean it's a weird dynamic because Ref. Let me ask you this first. In the comic, was the code a big deal? I don't remember
No,
them calling it the code or a
no,
focus. I mean, I don't want to make spoilers, but it's
it
like,
wasn't.
yes, it was just kind of conceived that the Utopian was antiquated in how he handled things, and they got sick of it. But it wasn't called the code, and everyone lived by the code. Do you remember that? I don't remember
No,
that.
I mean, nothing came up about this no kill code. This no.
Yeah.
Oh,
So they definitely made that more of a thing for the show.
But
But you're right. I believe. Oh, go ahead.
no, I think that's what made the show unique, and I guess I understand why they would do that, is because they wanted to make the Utopians way different than Brandon's way, of
Right.
because again, the way he did it back in the 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s, etc., is way different than maybe we would solve it now.
yeah.
Which is
No, that's
cool
true.
and unique for me.
Mm-hmm. And there were times in the comics where I can remember, they'd have these stories with Batman and then Spider-Man are the ones I remember, that, especially Spider-Man. There were these big debates. Spider-Man was no kill, no kill, no kill. And Batman was to a degree at times too. And it's not like I was championing anyone to be killed, but it was kind of like at some point you're like a police officer. And
Careful.
it starts to, yeah, I know. But at some point it becomes like, oh my gosh, guys, it should always be your goal not to kill. But there's going to be some instances if you're going to be engaging in the kind of fights and battles and decisions that you may not have a choice. Like we won't spoil it for Ref, but Coach, in that last episode, there was that was the whole debate. Like, either way, you're going to lose. You're going to do this and kill, or something bad's going to happen. And it's like, I think most of us would watch that episode and be like, I don't want to be immoral, but it's like, you guys are almost sort of law enforcement. If my family member's at risk, I'm going to take out anyone to save my family. So that's not
Right.
even a question. That's not
Right.
even a question. So,
Well, I mean, when you think of BVS or really Justice League, like you go back and you see Batman finally kicking some ass in the sense that I don't necessarily think that he gave a shit about whether that person died or lived. Like,
he killed multiple people in BVS. And that's why all the fans were so mad, like Batman doesn't kill. And it's like, yes, that's typically true, but you might want to go back and watch Batman from '89 and Batman Returns, when he gleefully stuck the dynamite down that guy's belt and threw him in a hole and he blew up.
Prove it. Prove it. He died. Prove it.
Yeah, I guess he took it off in time and lived.
he was just never able to produce other kids.
But
he
I
was
like
the
how
ice lair.
Yeah, that's right. I do like how this show though makes that an issue. Like, oh man, all these comics they don't kill, and I think that's a good way to present it, especially to kids. But yeah, they just took the old comic trope of you don't kill as a hero, and then like, well, sometimes we may not have a choice. So you're telling me you want me to sacrifice the life of my loved one because I don't kill? I thought it was well done.
Yeah. So what did you all think about Chloe?
Thought she did a good job.
I thought she was actually good. She was right there with Josh Duhamel for me. All right.
Yeah,
and the brother, the brain.
Paragon.
Yeah.
Oh, Brainwave. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, Chloe, I think, did a really good job. I mean, she was supposed to be unlikable to a point, but it wasn't to the extent where you're like, oh my gosh, I can't stand her. So she did a good job balancing. She's supposed to be a shit and unlikable at this point, but you kind of recognize that she's struggling and she knows she shouldn't be so far down the rabbit hole. So I thought she did really good. Yeah.
I did not like the part where she is modeling with the car and she picks up the car and they have that pose and it is exactly Superman in the first comics where he's holding the car over his head. I thought I didn't like that. It was too far.
A little homage, a little cheesy.
And then just throws the freaking sports car and just demolishes it.
Well, now that was cool, but
and the feminists in their bras. I get it.
I think my other MVP, I'm loving Dutch, man. That guy is super cool. He's a great actor. I don't know where he's comes from, but I think he does a great job. I mean, he kind of, if he shaved off the mohawk, he's got the swagger and almost a little bit of the looks of Jensen Ackles from Supernatural, Dean. And I really like him. I like his character. Extremely well done. I haven't read the comic. I kind of know where things are headed. And I mean, they definitely made changes to the comic with this series, but outside of one major change, it's been pretty pretty true. So I guess we can talk about the change. We can go ahead and do it. It's not a spoiler because it didn't happen.
Okay.
But Ref, do you remember in the comic? I mean, like the first issue or two, it was very Game of Thrones. So like in the first issue, like I said, or two, I mean, Utopian dies. He's the big hero, and
Wow.
this this evil plan comes to the forefront, and he gets taken out just uh like Ned Stark style. I mean, he's out. Like it's a shock. And so they definitely didn't do that in the series. So
Huh.
I'm almost
that was
glad
a
they
big
didn't.
change.
Are
I
you?
am too. I am too. You think about it, and you got to figure that the writers were like, guys, we can't do that. They're just gonna say we're ripping Game of Thrones off, even though
It's true.
well, they didn't do it before the book of Game of Thrones, but they did it. The comic came out before the TV show, but I'm sure they were like, yeah, we got to change something up. That's too Game of Thrones. But I'm glad they didn't. I agree.
Well, could you imagine Invincible? They killing Omni Man like issue, the third episode. Like, I mean,
Right? Yeah. Be like,
it'd be
what
the
the
same
hell?
thing.
Right.
I mean, that would really screw up the thing.
Exactly. So I mean, I gotta say, overall, I give the show pretty high marks. I mean, maybe an 8.5 for me.
Mhm.
Like that first episode was a 10.
Yeah.
And really the last two episodes for me were like a 10.
Mhm.
So but overall there was some it was a little dragging, maybe a little bit. They could have paced some things better, but I think it's a huge start, and we all better hope they have a second season, because it did end on a hell of a cliffhanger.
I mean, I thought the acting was great. I mean, I think the action scenes probably can't really live up to the Marvels and the DCs
Yeah.
of this world, but I really do believe the acting was great. Like, I think Ace, what you've said, before of Brainwave, I thought Brainwave was awesome. I thought his character
Yeah.
was sketchy, and then he wasn't, and then again, I haven't completed it, but I hope that he turns on the right side, because I think he's just an awfully cool character.
If having read the book, if you've read the book, then you will be pleased with how things end up.
Thank heavens.
But at the same time, kind of sad
Yeah.
because it's like, oh damn, I really like him.
Mhm.
I'm gonna give it an 8, and my mind would change if there isn't another season, because they should have done it differently. If there's not going to be a season 2, with how much backstory that you went
Yeah.
and the effort that you went. But at the same time, I think us, the fans, we go too far on not allowing. We need to understand that nobody's going to have Marvel's expense rate that they can do and just throw money at the technology and all the everything. It's just the CGI is what it is in Jupiter's Legacy, and they do the best they can with what they're able to do for the budget. And I think if you're comparing the effects to Falcon and Winter Soldier to compare to Jupiter's Legacy, that's not fair, in my opinion. I thought it was a good
Yeah.
story, and I think it's time for something different. We need something a little different, and be a story behind it, not just boom bam in your face and go to the next one.
Well, yeah. I mean, Netflix has bought Mark Millarworld. It's called Millarworld. They bought that property, all his stuff. So he signed like a 7-year contract that he's working for him, but he sold his whole company to them, and so now he makes comics for and published by Netflix. So they were banking on his books to be a rival IP to Marvel and DC, because as much money as Netflix the Netflix makes, with all the other streaming services, they recognize we have to have our own little superhero universe going here to compete. We're still the big dog, but if we don't start doing that, we're going to lose out because the two biggest comic properties in the world, DC and Marvel, are with somebody else. So, they did that. And so, part of me thinks Netflix with their billions and billions of dollars maybe could have made some of the effect shots a little better.
Even the superhero landings weren't the greatest.
I gotta say the wire work was not great at times. You could see them kind of I'm like, damn guys, Christopher Reeve landed smoother than you did
Like
in
when
1978.
when the mom's outside the daughter's apartment, and sorry, ref, if this is too far.
Spoil!
And when she just flies away, it like takes 5 minutes for her to finally go up in the air and go away. Did you notice that?
I didn't notice that, but I believe it.
It was so slow. It was just like, okay,
Yeah.
this is awkward.
Yeah, well, so there's a few things that were a little dodgy. Yeah, go ahead.
Even as amazing as that first episode was, like even that big fight scene was, there was maybe some problems with the choreography of the fight. I mean, it seemed a little static at times. I mean, it seemed a little.
Yeah, they weren't. I mean, it was a little like, can't you cut? Like, you can do some better things.
Even shows like that got tanked reviews, like Iron Fist and whatnot, did way better of choreography. I think that's maybe what they did so amazing was choreography of the fight scenes.
So there's definitely room for improvement, but I think they've got a good foundation though to build on. And here's my opinion, and you guys tell me if I'm out of base, but out of line. But I really, really like the costume designs. I thought most of the costumes looked freaking great. I mean, they had a really good balance of kind of a classic 40s costume with making it look not cheesy and spandexy, but it did. I mean, I don't know. I was like, I thought they looked really good, man.
Yeah, I mean, just reflect back to what they've done in the past. Like they retreat on costume designs. Anything from the comics, they just like crumple up a throwaway and say, let's redo that.
Yeah, a lot of times they do.
And you know what? I don't think they did that here. I think they
no, it's great.
Took the basic ideas and they just accentuated it.
Yeah, and I think if it's a superhero thing, be big, bold colors. Yeah. I mean, it is what it is. I think they did good on that.
Sure.
Yeah, I mean, here's my little sidebar though. Is like, and Ref knows this too about me. I always get super annoyed if you do a comic property and you dumb it down. Like I'm still fumingly pissed to this day about freaking Iron Fist. And you had 2 effing seasons of Iron Fist and you never put him in his damn costume. It's the stupidest thing ever. Like, why are you doing the show? Just call it something else. Call it, Karate JoJo. I don't know. Don't call it Iron Fist though. It's the stupidest thing ever. So yes, it's very nice when you take you're going to do a superhero property, you go all in on the comic or the costume. If you don't want to do that, then don't bother doing it.
Mm-hmm. I agree. If you have enjoyed what you have watched, please hit the subscribe button and make sure you check out our other videos. Thank you.